Hey everyone, so I'm kind of doing my first take around of doing a video about my pedals. This isn't really so much a review as kind of a walkthrough on what I'm doing to get kind of a Hendrixy type of tone. I'm fooling around and just kind of jamming in the apartment. So primarily there are four pedals that I like to use, and it's really kind of basic as a result of that. There's a fifth in terms of when you get into modulations and delays and stuff like that, then there'd be a sixth. But just to get that kind of original Hendrix tone, I like to use, first off, the TC Electronics Mojo Mojo, which is down here, the brown guy. Now, clearly they did it brown to kind of grab that the brown sound, or JTM 45 from Marshall. Now there's a lot of pedals on the market that do it. This guy is one of my favorites. Dark Matter, which is a JCM style one. I really kind of use that more towards the, if you're doing like 70s, 80s, 90s kind of rock, Pearl Jam, Stone Temple Pilots, Led Zeppelin, Velvet Revolver slash Guns N' Roses, so a slash sound. That thing will carry all the way through it. And then there's also the Fat Fuzz Factory, which you can use a normal fuzz factory as well. It's basically a little bit more complicated fuzz face, which is what's great about it. And obviously the Sonus here. Now the Sonus I actually have set up to mimic the Dunlop Hendrix wah. Now the reason I did that is the Hendrix wah actually won't work with a fuzz face, which is kind of hilarious, being that they're kind of sold together as a pairing. But if anybody online knows why that is, it's there's a couple videos about it in terms of oscillation, in terms of input outputs not matching. The Sonus completely eliminates that, and I'll show you that in a second. But anyways, let's get started with the pedals. So first up, let's try the Mojo Mojo. Now, this guy is one of my clean guys. So I'm also playing a 2002 American Fender Stratocaster. It's got, I believe, Texas Specials or Hot Rods. I can't remember what it is. But I'll be doing a review on this soon enough. Anyways, what's great about the Mojos and the Dark Matter is that you actually can use your volume to change the tone and obviously the distortion of it, just like an amp. So here is the neck pickup on 10. Now if we roll that back just a little bit, let's say to about a 7. Right, already starting to clean up, go about halfway to a 5. Obviously the volume's dropping off, but you get the point, right? It really cleans up nicely. Now this can already give you that kind of purple haze sound. Does it fantastic, right? Already gets you there. You can also get a little bit of that little wing, right? Because the Mojo Mojo kind of, they say it doesn't really affect your bass. It kind of keeps it, right, through the length of it, which is nice when you have as many pedals as I do. But I also noticed that it does kind of boost it a bit, in my opinion anyways, or at least that's how everything's kind of set up versus all the other pedals, which will come in handy, especially when we get into the Fuzz Factory. And I'll show you in a second, but you can also get that kind of little wing. Let's see, it's a little too gritty, right? Let's bring it down a bit. Right, really kind of captures that sound to it. Among other things, I mean, Now that's all just playing on the neck. You can kind of hear the expressiveness of it, that I can stay on one of them and not really get away from it. Sorry, the bridge, not the neck, the bridge position. If I go to the neck, there's bass for days, even rolled back. Which to me kind of makes it a little bit pain in the ass, because I'm not a big bass guy like that, because you get drowned out in a mix. But when we toss this with a Fuzz Factory, so let's do that now. Mind you, this is going to get loud and noisy, because these aren't aren't noiseless pickups, so you're going to get some of the hum going. But isn't that what we all kind of search for when we're doing a Hendrix sound anyways? Anyway, so Fuzz Factory's on. It's flipped upside down just because of the orientation of the pedals and how I had to kind of fit it in here. But I have the drive about just a little past noon, zero compression, and you kind of, the stability I kind of like to bring down to get a little bit more bassy sound, because what I found is with that pedal mixed into an amp, it actually can really get quite trebly when you start rolling around on the volume. So let's see that. So this is going to be, again, neck pickup, full. A lot of bass. I mean, not bass, but just that growl to it, right? Which is great about fuzzes. But what I found what's really cool about this is that if you kind of fiddle around, I think around the 7-8 position, now it gets really trebly. Which, if you go for those classic kind of album sounds and how they mic them and did everything, right? And then if you crank that up just a little bit, you can get a little bit more growl to it. Right, and now, so I kind of have a, I've watched a lot of videos and I've seen Hendrix obviously goes over and kicks on that fuzz face, to do his solos and stuff, but goddamn, when it comes to the albums, I'd almost swear that he's using that a little bit more often, using his volume to kind of screw around with it a little bit more. I mean, you can hear it on Foxy Lady, right? Again, that's just in the neck position, and we turn that, or into the bridge position, we hit this thing on the neck. Things just growls. Anyway, so this is kind of the first part of it. Now, really, if we get around past the Mojo Mojo, we go into the dark matter, it's just a different sound, right? And again, you can stack it. Last thing I got to show you is kind of how the fuzz works with the wah pedal. So I'm just going to have to kind of reset up, and then let's do this. So again here, I'm going to go more with the Mojo and the fuzz. Now I have this the Sonus, pardon my shadows and my foot coming in. I have the Sonus. Well, I'm not going to share my secrets. If you guys buy one of these pedals, you can have a lot of fun with it. I don't see them out there that much, so it's kind of one of my secret pieces. Anyways, it's set so that as soon as I do this, you see it already gets quite noisy, right? That's just because of the fuzz. But Let me show you what I mean there. Let's see without the fuzz, right? Anyways, so that guy is actually in front. You can see the red wire actually coming down. That is in front of a fuzz face, right? No modifications, nothing. That is that pedal directly in. You don't get the oscillation issues, say, that I'm going to show you next with the Eddie Van Halen wah, right? Here's why you normally can't do this. Fuzz. Alright, let's put it after. Let's put something like the dime bag afterwards. There's some tone there, there's something there, not Hendrix there. That Sonos pedal is fantastic for the fact that it can do that, among so many other things. You know, there's a whole bunch of other stuff. You know, when you get into even like Little Wing, right, and Castles Made of Sand, all this kind of stuff. You know, I would really suggest getting a cool panner. Univibe works really well, but to get that kind of spatial effect, a panner does numerous things really well here. Right? It just kind of captures that Hendrix. Now, if you're wondering what I'm using an M5 right now from line 6, and I have another one. I have a tremolo one, but this one's a lot easier to use because I can tap tempo into a song to get that sound. You know, it's not to say that you can't also kill it with the Univibe, which this guy does as well. Just have them side by side. Good call. So here's the Univibe with a Mojo Mojo. I can also tap tempo this in. Right, you know, you put that fuzz on it. Great kind of tone to it. You know, this is really, like I said, one of my favorite ones, and I really do use the Mojo Mojo on a Hendrix a little bit more than the Dark Matter, but it's every once in a while where if you're playing a certain song, the Dark Matter's mid-range kind of likes to punch through a little better. There's other things you can add on to this as well. You can add, you know, a reverb to get that sound. There's delays from like all along the watchtower. There's all kinds of stuff you can do, but if you settle on those 4 pedals to begin with, you can be kicking ass just like the Hendrix did. Um, but the one key thing I really want to put out there is the Mojo Mojo and the Dark Matter really make you tune your amp into the right space. You might think you have it really well set up to begin with. You pop those on at noon, which means that the EQs have no effect on it, and they just punch out the fact that you have not set your amps to a happy tone in my mind. So you have to sit there, get your amp in spot, EQs flat, and then you can dial in a little bit more treble or a little bit more bass or something like that, just to kind of capture the flavor of another musician. But you know, definitely start off with the pedals on, then the amp, and then you can migrate back to the pedals again. Anyways, this is my first go of this, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you learned a little bit. You know, post your comments. If you like what I do, also check out my my review page where I go over all the gear I do. Hopefully I'll be doing a little bit more of this more frequently. We'll see. Definitely takes a lot of work. So you know, rate this video and subscribe if you can. Thanks.